All right, everyone. I think we're live. This is very exciting, thrilling, in fact. Welcome to another fine session of Arts on Colorado Live, a surprise version. My name is Ethan Leubner, and I am your host. I'm also working technology at the same time, which is always very exciting. So, yep, looks like we're live. Um, so we're live on YouTube, Facebook, my personal page, and also the Arts on Colorado page. I hope you're joining us now, and look forward to maybe seeing your comments in the chat on any one of those platforms. We always go through afterwards and talk a little bit about it. Someday we'll have enough money for a producer who will like feed us questions and all sorts of cool things like that. But for now, we're just kind of doing what we can. So, as I said, my name is Epan Leubner, and I'm the founder of Arts on Colorado. And tonight we were planning on doing our video release of What is an Art Song. We hit a few technical glitches, but we're working them out. And we're going to be releasing that video on Wednesday night. That's March 24th at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Sorry, East Coasters, you're going to have to stay up late for your art song fix. So, one of the things that before we get started, you can see we're doing a little web chat today. I've got a guest, Dr. Graham Anduri from Colorado Mesa University, one of my little co-collaborators on this project. And one of the things that you should know is that we're actually looking for some audience feedback. So if you're watching this video, either now or after the fact, we actually need your help for a very stupid task, but one that is necessary. We need a better name for this show than Art Song Colorado Live. I feel like it's substandard. I don't know, Graham. What do you think? It's kind of garbage name.
Yeah, I think we could use something a little more creative, I'm sure.
Yeah, I had a great idea, Graham. It was Smart Song.
That's a dad joke in there.
I'm doing what I can. Yes, and I actually didn't prep him for that. That's his true response, which is 100% honest. It was from his heart, and I think the look on his face said it all. I need help. We need a new name. So maybe you can help us out. Drop a comment there of the ones that make me laugh or the ones that are really cool. We're gonna put it to our Patreon site, and any patron who's on the site will get a chance to vote on the name of the show, and then we'll build some graphics around it, and it'll be really fun. And you might have the knowledge of knowing that you helped steer this show right as we were starting out. So drop a comment for us because it would be great. So I brought Graham here today because he and I have been working on this project called What is an Art Song? And so Graham, thanks so much for being here. Really glad to have you. I thought I would just start off by saying, okay, so what's your vision for this show? What is it about this show that makes it special and unique?
What is an art song?
What is an art song?
Yeah, well, I think the whole point of doing this show originally, when we planned on this show before lockdown more than a year ago, we wanted to introduce art song, the genre of art song, to new audiences. That's kind of the whole one of the missions of Art Song Colorado. And so, what is an art song? Meaning, what are the different ways that art song can express elements of the human condition? Essentially, what are the different formats that art song uses to tell the stories of humanity? And so we kind of chose different themes for various different songs that are that are still pertinent to a modern audience, that still can reach a modern audience and are translatable into modern situations. So, we filmed this. We had to do things in a very different way than we normally would for a live concert or even for a normal pre-recorded concert because of COVID. We had a lot of restrictions we had to work around. So um, we ended up having to we pre-recorded the piano part, and then we recorded the vocal parts separately, and then we had to match those together. And we figured, well, if we're gonna do this, why not? Let's do something cool and new and exciting and fun with it. So we are adding in various different visual elements. So we have performance footage of the pianist and the singers as they're recording, but then also are adding in different images that we found that fit each song, different video clips from other sources, as well as you and your daughter created some brand new illustrations for your contribution to this,
That's right.
which really cool, really unique and creative.
Thanks.
So um, we decided, we wanted to come up with sort of this variety show of art song that hits all these different themes of, universal themes of heartbreak and what happens, how do we deal with death, and how do we deal with losing somebody, or how do we deal with just seeing a dog that looks cute, and relating that to to modern day events. So that's basically what we're looking at with what's about to be premiered in a few days here.
Cool, cool. Yeah, it was really interesting. The trip out to Grand Junction for us to shoot this, I actually drove out there, um, and I gotta say, it was really weird to be on the road. I hadn't driven anywhere particularly for any events. I mean, it was the roads were barren in the middle of the night. There was nobody there. There was nobody going to, like it was a really almost surreal experience going out there and then doing the session in just these little slices was really interesting. I mean, I had had my music pre-recorded just because I happened to have some stuff that I'd been working on and I've been sort of working towards, but like seeing you all have to like adapt to this, and then not to mention the weirdness of like air scrubbers, running between sets so
Right.
that we can clean out the air. I mean, it was just the first time
Yeah.
that as an organization really got a chance to do that. It was exciting,
Yeah.
scary a little bit, but
Yeah.
we all were safe,
It
right?
was. It was. It was strange. We had the air scrubbers going in between songs. We had masks whenever we weren't singing, obviously. Recording pieces separately, and nobody else really was in the hall except for us. We took every precaution that we could, and it made for a difficult a difficult process at times, but also a really cool learning experience, cool creative process, because it forced us to figure out how to get around these obstacles and do things in different ways. And so, it was challenging, but also really rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I think we probably should say thank you to a couple of our sponsors. Colorado Mesa University obviously helped us by providing the space, the air scrubbers. They really, like, that was great. And then the City of Grand Junction Commission on Arts and Culture actually gave us a grant for this show and a show we did, was it in August? I believe so, right?
October.
October, that's right. We shot it in previously, but we didn't get it out until October. A show that was called March with Her, which was sort of this historical fiction art song show with historical
Mm-hmm.
pictures and all sorts of interesting things about women's suffrage. And so that was those two shows were sponsored by the commission. So we're really grateful for that opportunity. Graham, I thought I would kind of put you on the spot. We've got some footage actually from backstage, not backstage, but like the sort of behind the scenes video recording of one of the songs you sang uh, for March with Her, the women's suffrage show. And so this one I brought out from the archives. We're going to be putting super titles on it eventually, but I thought it would be almost more interesting for the audience if you could just tell us a little bit about the song "Du bist wie eine Blume" by Franz Liszt. Maybe just give us a little bit about it, like you know, what made you interested in the
Why
song,
did
and
I choose it?
yeah, why'd you choose
Yeah.
it? And then we'll show the video, and then we can wrap up the show. We always keep things
Sure.
brisk here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is not the commonly known version of this song. More often you'll hear Robert Schumann's rendering of this same poem. Um, I chose the Franz Liszt because I was getting sick of hearing the Schumann one, and I like the way that this one
Ouch.
goes. I think it's got a really um, it's a very beautifully written piece of music. But I specifically chose this poem for the March with Her concert because it's so Du bist wie eine Blume means you are like a flower. Essentially, you are as beautiful as a flower, and it's talking about how pure uh, and radiant and fair this woman is. And it on the surface, it seems really lovely. It seems really tender and loving and caring. But it's as long as I've been aware of this song and this poem, it's always struck me that it seems very shallow because it there's a line in it that says Betens uh, dass dich Gott der Halter so rein und schön und hold. So praying that God will keep you so beautiful and lovely and fair and serene. Um, Basically saying like I hope you never get old and ugly because I can't love you if that's the case.
It,
And
wow.
it just seems so shallow.
Yeah.
And so I chose it for March with Her because the character that we created for the husband of this woman who is becoming a suffragette um, had to go through some kind of a transformation from being unsupportive of women's suffrage to becoming supportive of it. So this song comes on the early end of that transformative process. So he loves his wife, obviously, but he still has this sense of, this is back in the 1880s. Um, and so things were much different back then, although maybe not as different as we hope they are. And there was a definite, imbalance, an assumed imbalance of power between men and women. And so this song, I think, has been really um, illustrative of that, this assumed balance of power, and that's why I chose it. And then it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, okay, cool. No, that sounds great. I mean, I think this idea of exploring problematic music is something that we're going to probably cover a lot of in this show just because, um, you know, there there is a real question around some of the poetry and some of the words and are they still relevant, and we should probably have some sort of conversation about that. And so
Sure.
I was it was cool to contextualize it in the idea of a narrative fiction. So why don't we just see what you did, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little more.
All right.
All right.
Du bist wie eine Blume, so hold und schön und rein. Ich schau dich an und Wehmut schleicht mir ins Herz hinein. Mir ist, als ob ich die Hände aufs Haupt dir legen sollt. Betend, dass dich Gott erhalte, so rein und schön und hold.
Cool. All right, we're back. Hard to believe it. Um, so Graham, I just want to say one of the things that strikes me about this performance that you did is that while the words are sort of suboptimal, I guess, in terms of the way the poet is treating the situation. One of the things that I liked was sort of the honesty you brought to it. Sort of it was a little bit more maybe the more simple point of view to it. Maybe not through the lens of today, where it's definitely a little more problematic. So I
Right.
love
Well,
that.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, it was it is a love song still. It
Yeah.
is it's an expression of his appreciation of her beauty and love for her. So that's where you know the husband in that story that we created was coming from that place, regardless of his um, maybe unconscious biases, but it's still it is a lovely and tender song. It's just maybe a little short sighted and shallow.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's I guess it's probably good to wade into those depths today, right? And try to figure out what's the good in it. Sometimes in this case. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, well, thank you for sharing that and for telling us about what is an art song. It's been great working with you, and I can't wait to see what as we get through this. Wednesday night is really exciting. We'll do a probably one more live stream beforehand, just so that people can get psyched, get psyched for the art song show. Just a quick thing. So thank you, and I guess we'll probably just wrap up the show a little bit. But very excited for Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain. What is an art song? It's going to be on this Facebook page. It's going to be on my personal Facebook page and the YouTube. So wherever you're watching it, that's probably where you're going to get a chance to see it. And if we can figure out Instagram, maybe we'll do that too. But let's start with three and go from there.
Right.
Anyways, I always end the words with the words of the poet Theodore Rothke. If you can't think, at least sing. Have a great night, everyone.